Hello and welcome again to VW Feasts. We're making another chili this time with black beans and an avocado salsa. Yes, luxury. For this we will be using some nice beef. We're actually using entrecote here. We have friends coming around. These are black beans. To give the richness we are using sun-dried tomatoes rather than my red wine. Obviously other classic ingredients like lime, chili. These are coriander stalks and plenty of onions. So this is the secret ingredient. If you want to make something really rich, you can add tomato puree, you could add some luxurious red wine. However, I like my red wine, so this time the VW is going to use sun-dried tomatoes. We'll put them in the blitzer and add a little bit of oil and then blitz them up. This is the thing that will give it the luxury feel. Then the black beans. Ours came in tins. What we're going to do is we're going to just cook them for a few minutes just to soften them slightly to go into the chili. So when they get up to the boil, cover them and just leave them just to simmer for about 10 minutes. Right, for the next bit we're going to have to put the VW on turbo speed. So into a hot pan we got some oil and then we're adding some chopped red onions and we're just going to soften those down a little bit. We add a bit more oil. And to these we're going to add the garlic. The chili. The coriander stalks, and we'll show you later what we've done with the leaves, and just move this around. This is going to form the sort of the basis of part of our chili. Then once those are cooked properly, what we're going to do is we're going to just set them aside to reincorporate later, because we want this pan now to brown the meat. And why are we making such a huge chili? Well, we've got friends coming around on tomorrow, and we're planning the VW's Christmas party play, where traditionally as Brits we make a fool of ourselves, all in the spirit of fun. So hence the nice steak and hence the large volumes. This isn't just for the two of us, that would be too much. So in goes the entrecote, and we're just going to start browning that off. We'll just add the first part, just rather than adding everything at once and having it clagged together, just move that around and brown off the meat. I know we've done a chili before, but this chili really is the luxury chili. And less orthodox than a chili con carne. Beans aren't always in a chili, but when people do use beans, more often they use red kidney beans. This time we're using black beans. So once we've got that browned off nicely, we will just add a thickening agent. Here's some corn flour, so we'll just help bring out some of that lovely gravy flavour. Back go in the onions from earlier, and then tins of chopped tomatoes. There different labels, you'll notice. That's not because there's something special about them, but just because those are the ones we had in the cupboard. We get through a lot. These aren't chopped so much, but as everything breaks down they don't need to be. And you'll see we've also added in those sun-dried tomatoes as well. So all the tomatoes are there, and we'll just make sure every last bit of tomato comes out of the tins. An American chili is known as a big red, and that's because of the tomatoes. In goes a little bit of cumin and a little bit of chili powder. Obviously you've got chilies in there as well, a little bit of salt to season. And you can make it as hot or as mild as you like. If you want to go back to what's traditionally South American chilies, you can even add bitter chocolate. You got those black beans, they go in there, and we just give it all a nice stir to incorporate everything together. Now, we were actually making this the night before, so that all we have to do is just heat it up and serve it with some rice and bread and everything else, and serve the hungry workers. Once that's mixed up properly, on goes a bit of baking parchment and the lid. And that baking parchment obviously forms a seal. And then we'll just stick that into the oven. After an hour or so, we'll take it out, as you can see. Well, if only you could smell the beautiful smell as this comes out the oven. Wow. And you can see what it's turned into, this beautiful, rich chili. So, to that, we're going to add some bell peppers, chopped bell peppers. Again, big discussion whether these should be in chilies. I like them in chilies. I think it loosens it up and freshens it up a bit. Many people don't. Of course, at this point, important to taste for extra seasoning and also to feed the cameraman. Thank you. A little bit more water just to loosen it up again. And then back into the oven. And then before we serve, we'll just add a little bit of lime juice to that as well. But while that is cooking, let's make a salsa. So for this, here are the coriander leaves we talked about earlier, and Tabasco sauce, onions, lime, and 2 very ripe avocados. So first thing I'm going to do is chop the tomatoes, and what we don't want to do is have the skin into this salsa. So here's a little trick: carve an X into the top or the bottom of the tomato, the opposite side to where the stalk goes in, and then pour on boiling water and just leave those there for a little bit. Now we've got some more chopped red onions. We're just going to put those into a bowl, and that's time enough. Let's just take out one of those, and as you see, you pull on those edges, the skin just comes off really easily. How about that? You don't want to leave them in too long, otherwise you'll start to cook your tomatoes, which is not what you want to do. You just want to get the skins off. So let's get them all out of the water, make sure they don't cook. And the VW will show you how easy it is just to peel some tomatoes. It's not to say you can't leave skins on tomatoes, but for this recipe we don't want to. And then what we're also going to do is just take out some of the seeds. Don't mind some seeds in there, but with too many again it'll change the texture of the salsa. So let's just scoop a few of those out. This is of course a super sharp knife made in Derbyshire. And then once we've got those nicely chopped, we'll add them to the onions. So in goes the coriander. We'll just tear it roughly a bit. The coriander leaves. Remember, the stalks went into the chili itself. And then lime juice. Here's our chili, and you can take the seeds out if you want it less hot, but we like it hot. The avocados. So as always, cut around the equator of the avocado. You'll find there's a stone. Now these are very ripe, so the skin just comes off them very easily, and you can see the flesh has already started to change colour a bit. If you've got them less ripe, you can add a little bit of lime at this point. It'll stop it going brown. You don't really want to make the avocado skins, so best to take them out of the salsa. And then again with the second avocado. If you're struggling with the stone and it's a little bit slippery, take the knife and just stick it in and hoik it out. These are slightly less ripe, so we can just scoop out that lovely flesh. Something I'm told is very popular in middle-class England. I'm just not a fan. Tabasco, give it a bit more spice. So half a spoonful of that, and then just mix it all together. Actually, if you don't like avocado, I can reassure you, you don't even taste it. It just gives a creaminess to this salsa. So a creaminess rather than the sort of crunchiness you'll get with some other salsas. This is a very creamy, unctuous salsa. All remains is to plate up, and there you are. Chili with avocado salsa, sour cream, and some garlic bread. Enjoy.